We have made it possible to do comprehensive lab tests from a prick from the finger and to eliminate the tubes and tubes of blood.
Yeah.
In retrospect, when you look at where you are today, one test with the prick of blood, wasn't that going too far?
So we have developed hundreds of tests over the course of the last 12 years that can run a tiny sample using proprietary Theranos technology. And part of when I talk about communicating, what we need to do is we need to get that data out there. And I've talked publicly over the course of the last couple of weeks that we've made a decision now to take the data that we've generated for our FDA submissions and put it into the public domain, and we will. But since you're focused on the one test, let's talk about why we're doing that.
And by the way, it's not just me that was focused on the one test. That was sort of the story. The Theranos story was all about this one pinprick that would let you do comprehensive blood testing.
Yeah.
That was the story.
Yeah, well, I think this is what we sort of need to dissect a little bit. So when you look at Theranos makes devices. We make chemistries, we make consumables, we make software, and we have a little tube called a nanotainer. This has nothing to do with our tests.
Now you're confusing me. How many tests are you doing right now from a simple pinprick as you described in that TED Talk?
Yeah, so right now, just because of this FDA transition,
one.
We're only doing one.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that we don't have the technology to do them, or that we haven't done them in the past.
And are you confident that you will get the FDA approval to do the 200 that are a standard part of the draw?
Well, there's multiple parts to this. One is the validation of those tests under the lab framework. The other one is the FDA submission, and this is an area of evolving policy that we're working to create a leadership position in. We've never talked publicly about what the status of what we're doing with FDA is, because we just hadn't felt that was appropriate until we got into all of this recent press communications. But we're incredibly confident in the data that we've submitted to the agency. We've worked on it for 2 years, and we've met the standard of comparing our tubes to vacutainers, which are the big tubes that come from the arm, and we're hopeful that we'll see those.
So you feel confident that that vision you laid out 9 months ago will still happen, that you'll be able to do comprehensive tests from a single prick?
Absolutely, and we've done it in the past, and we're going to continue to do it in the future. Some of the business leaders.
No, your one of your business partners, of course, was Walgreens, which has publicly said they're stopping expansion to new stores of Theranos, which is only in Arizona right now, right?
Well, they haven't said that to us. Yeah. But
they have not said that to you?
Not to us, no.
So you still expect to build out to Walgreens stores?
Well, we're talking with them, and we were at a point in which we'd completed our rollout in Phoenix, and we're looking at what the next steps in that relationship are. They've been a great partner with us in the context of our work in Phoenix.
Do you think, given what you know now about your technology and the regulatory challenges and so forth, do you think this company is a $9 billion company?
Well, I think that's for investors to decide.
But so far, no problem? Do you have all the money you need to get through this tough period?
Absolutely.
You have no problem with financing?
Well, I mean, that's a very loaded term. We're definitely not in a position in which we need to raise capital right now.
We have very...
So I want to jump in. You've said that the journal's reporting on Theranos has been erroneous and quote, grounded in baseless assertions. Could you get specific on the key points today and starting with whether you're now at the point where you're only testing for one thing, herpes, using your proprietary technology? Is that correct?
It's not correct. And there's a lot of different elements of our work that have been conflated through these two pieces. The decision that we made to voluntarily submit all of our tests and test systems to FDA meant that we have to move as a company from the lab framework and quality systems to the FDA framework and quality systems. And our specific recent announcements around what we're doing with our nanotainer tube have to do only with the tube that we use to collect capillary or finger stick blood, and the decision that we made to take those tubes through the FDA clearance process. We've submitted all of our filings around those nanotainer tubes. That nanotainer was actually cleared by the FDA for use with our devices and software and first test that we took through the FDA for HSV. And now we're taking it through for use with any combination of tests. So once you submit those submissions, at a certain point, if you're going to transition from operating under the CLIA lab framework to the FDA framework to be compliant with the use of those nanotainers as an FDA-regulated device, you have to move to the FDA quality systems. And that's what we've just done.
So, but at this moment in time then, you're not using... So if I went to one of the centers and I got a pinprick, and I only gave that much blood, right? What tests are you currently able to perform for that blood using anything other than commercially available lab equipment?
So we have never used commercially available lab equipment. For finger stick based tests.
Okay.
Every finger stick test that we have ever done uses proprietary Theranos technology that is not commercially available.
Okay.
Right now, because we're at a moment in time in which we've decided to transition from the lab framework to the FDA framework. I think about this kind of like if you have cars driving on a road and you say, okay, I'm going to take everybody from driving on the right-hand side of the road to the left-hand side of the road. The only way to do that is to pause, right?
Okay.
Cut over. And so as a result, because we have voluntarily decided not to use our nanotainer tubes until we cut over to the left-hand side of the road, which we now have the FDA quality systems in place to do this. We are not collecting the finger stick sample for anything except for HSV. That has nothing to do with what we can run on our devices in our lab. It has nothing to do with our tests. It has nothing to do with our testing methodology or the accuracy or performance of it.
Had an inspection by the FDA this year.
Yep.
My understanding is it was unannounced, and that they communicated with you that this was because they had some concerns with the efficacy of the data that they were seeing from some of your results? My understanding is it was unannounced, and that they communicated with you that this was
Yeah.
because they had some concerns with the efficacy of the data that they were seeing. True?
So I have several answers to this. I mean, first, I am never going to get on stage and make comments about what the FDA thinks, because it's not my place to do that. I can tell you what I can say about it, which is that we got our systems cleared by FDA at the end of July. At the end of August, FDA did an inspection at Theranos. The inspection was about our compliance with quality systems regulations. It was a QSR audit, which is the quality system regulation audit. And that was what they focused on in the audit. So that being conflated with, is there concerns about our testing methodology, which was what was written in the Wall Street Journal article, is just completely false.
Surely you can describe what they communicated to you about why they came for that inspection.
They told us that they were here because we're now FDA regulated. They wanted to learn more about our work, and they wanted to understand our compliance with the quality system.
Would that have been an unannounced visit to do just that?
It was unannounced. I mean, I'm not FDA, but I read what was written in the article. We disagree with it. We think it was false, and we think it was misleading. I know what we've done, which is the decision to voluntarily work with the agency. We interact with them all the time. We've chosen to take a path that is hard, and I believe in it incredibly strongly because it's the right thing to do. And I personally, in Arizona, worked very hard to change the law to allow individuals the right to order lab tests directly. And I can't do that without knowing that the tests that are offered are of the highest quality. So we decided, yeah, this is hard, and yeah, this means we need to transition, and yes, it means there's going to be a pause period as we do this with all these tests and systems. But what an amazing thing that people are going to be able to use technology that's been regulated in this way.
Right.
And so we're going to do it.
I have to ask you, right? You have
Sure.
you have two sort of pretty iconic technologists. These are not just
Yeah.
average patients.
Yeah.
And in Jean-Louis Gasset's case,
Yeah.
he actually blogged about his results. He actually put them up there,
Yeah.
effectively waiving all of his privacy.
Sure.
And he expressed concern about the variations that he saw.
Yeah.
And said that he got no response from the company.
Yeah, I mean,
and
just on that. Quickly.
Yeah, okay.
He said he wrote me a letter,
Right.
and unfortunately I personally did not receive this letter. I wish he'd called our call center, which is what exists to be able to serve people in terms of explaining if we have different reference ranges or different ways we report our results. We absolutely are going to follow up with him now that we're aware of this, and we've done. Done over 3.5 million tests, right? So to take 5 of them out of context is just misleading.